All right. You got it. Chin to win, everybody. Chin to win. You know, if that doesn't get me banned off YouTube, I don't know what will. There's probably more cringe than that on YouTube. So there's this. I used to go to the gym with this fat person, and I asked him if he could do a chin up. Okay, and he's like, oh, "Yeah, I could probably do one." I'm like, "Well, shouldn't you count it as two since two chins are going up?" Anyways, you have my permission to use that one because you know. So if you're fat, maybe you're doing double chin ups. Okay. Mine's not a natural double chin. It's a water retention thing, or that's just my bullfrog muscle. See, apparently my dad's from northern Italy, and so well, a slur for French people is frog. I don't believe in that because that's racism is really bad. But you might say I'm a frog. Okay, so there's lots of people out there that want to know how to make their self more vascular, more lean, and have more veins showing. They want to look like an erection. All right, and so we'll, everyone's been asking me about my forehead and how I get the veins to show, and I get the pistons pumping. Okay, well, that's mostly genetic, but there's a few. There's a hack. Okay, and so if you want to impress a girl, then just a minute, Chad. Is that looking good? Is that good? Okay. You just walk up to her like that. Yeah. She'll just fucking she'll immediately grab your phone and put her number in it. Okay. Did the camera catch that, Chad? A little bit of it?
I couldn't even tell there was veins. Just looked like your eyes were going to blow up.
Just my eyes were going to blow up? Okay, just a minute. Hey, nice to meet you. Oh, I can't say my real name. Okay. You get it that time? Yeah? Okay. Works every time, guys. All right. That's, you don't have to spend $500. No Hustlers University. I just gave you the ultimate pickup technique, okay? You're welcome. Okay, perfect. I just finished taking shit number 2. All right. And I thought I'd update you guys on that. And when I had some Super Bowl action going on, and so what a Super Bowl is, I didn't coin this term. It was Devin Townsend. And so I think it was when he was recording City. He, him, him and the other guys he was living with would take a shit in the toilet and they wouldn't flush. And so there was 20 shits in there. And I was doing that, but I just, it's because the first one clogged it. And then sometimes you let it soak, it'll unclog itself, but it wasn't doing that. So there was 5 or 6 shits in there. But the Bulldog shit was like a solvent, and it fucking just melted everything, and then the Super Bowl was taken care of. All right, so think about that when you're eating. That's the perfect time. All right, it's sausage sandwich time. So, gonna be going to the gym probably Saturday, and then also on Saturday we have the full day of eating, which isn't going to be very exciting because I'm losing weight. So you don't get to see me gorge myself like a freak. But maybe I'll do a special thing just for Saturdays for you guys. Although the diet's not all that interesting. It's basically a lot of dairy, milk, cottage cheese, yogurt. I have some coffee. The thing I don't like about this rye bread is what the hell are you going to do with this little thing? I guess if you're really cutting, you can make a sandwich out of that. Or if you're a gnome like Jeff Nipper, that'd probably fit up his whole tummy. That'd probably hit the spot if you were a gnome. Let's not make fun of short people, Short guys got it tough. If you're under 6 feet tall, then you don't even exist. For women, that is. At least that's what they say. I don't have to worry about that. I'm 7 feet tall. See the shirt? 5X. 5X. Biggest one they had. Saw some kid today in front of me, and well, I mean, he's not a weightlifter, obviously. He's working at the grocery store. I don't know what department he's in, but he's having on his break for his lunch. Honeydew melon. Don't be that fucking kid, okay? Honeydew melon tastes good. It's not really. It's just basically water, but you gotta actually eat proper fucking food. You'd probably be 6'5". You know, if you're a teenager and you're watching this, let's say you're 15 years old, even if you're 17 years old. But if you're 15, it's better. You're still fucking growing, and if you eat as much protein as possible, animal protein, you'll grow more. Okay, and your brain also will. This is why you want to feed your kids when they're growing up a high protein animal protein diet, because it affects the brain growth and also their like skeletal growth. This is why the people who feed their kids a vegetarian diet are child abusers. These fucking sausages smell weird. Hopefully they're still good to eat. And you also want to breastfeed your children too, because the soybean formula, because formula is like skim milk, and then it has soybean in it and a bunch of other stupid shit. It has iron in it when you don't really need. Apparently, well, I'm not sure about this, but you want to have the proper cholesterol in the food, because cholesterol is a building block for everything in the body. And it's not the same with formula. And apparently it's, I'm not an expert, but I was looking at colostrum, and I got recommended this video, because colostrum is like a form of, is a part of the milk when a mammal is recently born. So they have it, and it's part of the milk for about like 3 to 6 days or something. And I got recommended this video, and it was some woman explaining how she increased her breast milk production by about 4 times, which is just fucking crazy. She was holding up a bunch of bottles. So yeah, you probably like a diet probably has to do with it a lot. Unfortunately, not a lot of women eat a lot of protein. That's another thing, is when they're also pregnant, the protein consumption will also affect the birth weight of the baby, and birth weight is an indicator of health. Hopefully these gray sausages don't make me sick. You know that, yeah, I thought I was going to be wrecked this morning from that bulldog yesterday, but it was okay. It wasn't great. Didn't feel very good, but it wasn't like the red hot sauce. When I had the red hot sauce, if you ever seen Terminator 2, where Miles Dyson is sitting out bleeding, and he's got the remote in his hand over top of the detonator switch. He's like, so anyways, that was me on the toilet when I had red hot sauce. If you're a Zoomer and you haven't seen the Terminator or Terminator 2, you gotta go watch that, and then watch The Matrix. And then The Thing, too. That's a good one. By John Carpenter. Day Live's pretty good, too. Big Trouble in Little China, that's a good movie, too. If you haven't seen the original Halloween, I know we're past Halloween season now everything's Christmas. But the original Halloween movie really creeped me out and scared me when I watched it. And I watched it when I was like a teenager. And so I guess I'm kind of a chicken. Yeah, the good thing about the gym is that, because I want to do overhead press there, because I'll be able to do different types of pressing, because it's, you get normal pressing, there's pin presses, there is, those are the 2 ones that basically I want to do. Pin presses are kind of like rack pulls, and you start with the bar. See this? You start with the bar here, like nose height or forehead height. I guess with my forehead, I can start pretty high, but if you start there and it's overloaded, it's like a rack pull, and so you'll press it out and then drop it on the safeties. And I don't want to bend one of my bars, so I'll use their bar. I'll use one of their bent bars. I'm not that much of a douchebag. I'm going to get someone to go with me to film it, because I don't want to be the guy in the gym with the tripod. And I don't want to ask randoms to film me, because And if I do that, I'll take out one of my bench days. Because this progression is, once I gain some weight, it's going to halt. Even at a low weight. This is a recomp acne deletion phase because I still, my acne is mostly gone. I just want my back to clear up and then the scars to fade. And I'm using Accutane right now. I do 20 milligrams a day. I take 10 milligrams in the morning, 10 at night. And if you're on Accutane, I don't know if your doctor told you this, but Accutane is a derivative of vitamin A. And vitamin A is a fat-soluble vitamin. So you need to take your Accutane with food. Like a high-fat meal, for example. And yeah, and if you're taking multiple pills a day, then you want to spread it out so you get a more even administration of the drug. I'm not endorsing it. And I'm actually taking that. I'm not ripping off Sam's Feel Like even more. Mine was really bad. I had scabs all down my chest. I remember every day when I have a shower, I would wash my scabs off, and then I had a picking problem too, and that made it way worse. I didn't think it was ever going to heal, but I stopped picking at it, and then I applied polysporin. There's another thing: if you want a cut or like a scab, you don't want the scab. So if you want to cut the heal faster, then put polysporin on it, and then cover it up if you can. Polysporin and Vaseline, or just Vaseline, because you want to keep it moist. Because when it scabs over, the healing like bodies can't get to it as easily because the scab's in the way. You want to keep it moist so that doesn't happen. We're still going? I don't want to be just talking to myself like a jerk off. I'm gonna mail that one to Africa. Living in Africa would be pretty rough because you'd have to be one of Bill Gates' guinea pigs. Just kidding. He's a great guy. Meanie sandwich assembly time. Good old Rich Piano. The guy's body did seem kind of suspicious in its structure. And at the end, he kind of had horns growing on the side of his head. Maybe he had that for years. I started watching him when I was in my early 20s, when he was with Mutant. And it just seemed crazy. It's a shame he was using fake weights pretty often. And with these fitness influencers is that they, like guys like Alex Eubank or even these newer guys, or the Trend Twins, or Omar Yusuf, whatever the hell. They basically are just finding that they're not making any new content. They're making the same content and then repackaging it. Just coming with new packaging. You can't really do too much. You'd have to branch out. You talk about steroids. You talk about nutrition. You try and talk about other health things, but some of these other things are more niche. Steroids are really popular, obviously. But if you were going to talk about sleep, how to get better sleep, or how to optimize your diet. If you're going to talk about some of the science behind it, More Places, More Dates does that, but that's more niche, and that's probably more. Those are for the hardcore people that really want to take it far. One of the reasons why you want animal proteins is for like a full spectrum of essential amino acids, and you want to pick the foods that they're the highest in leucine. And milk has the highest leucine content, as far as I know. Leucine activates mTOR, and mTOR is the mammalian target of rapamycin, and it modulates cell growth, cell proliferation, muscle protein synthesis, and gene transcription. And so that's the most important pathway for muscle building. Okay. You don't want that on all the time, but you want it on most of the time if you want to get as big as possible. The time it needs to go off once in a while or once a day, so that your body can clean up the dead and the garbage cells. Otherwise, they'll eventually become cancers, and then the mTOR will make them grow faster. That's why fasting is important, because it's your body will get rid of all of the garbage, all the dead cells, or the dying, the cells that are supposed to die. And with the overhead press is that some people think that it should be like your bench grip, but it's not. The hands should be just outside your shoulders. So like your this knuckle right here should be right at the edge of your deltoid. Okay. If you want your arms to be perpendicular with the floor. Not like this. Like that, not like that. You're gonna notice that I can't put the bar down across my clavicles. I don't really have any mobility anymore. So it's like at my chin. So it's touching my chin, and then when I go for the rep, then it goes down into the stretch reflex, and then that balance, and I time that with my hip thrust, and then I press. You'll see that. But it makes me mad when you see these videos, and it's like, this 19-year-old just deadlifted 800 pounds. No, he did a fucking sumo deadlift. It's like rainbow back bench. It's not as bad as rainbow back bench, but it's people that they find the loopholes in the rules, and then they do their dumbass shit. Like they take a wider bench. It'll be like a little girl, and she has a wider grip than me on the bench, and her back's like this, rainbow, and then she practices doing that. That does no muscle. Otherwise, people that were doing leg press with like 2,000 pounds, moving at 3 inches, they'd be fucking. Their squats would be huge, and their quads would be big, but they're not. You know, I said not to eat Mr. Noodles 2 days ago, maybe 3 days ago, and then I ate something similar to it yesterday. But I don't want to be a chicken, so I had to do it. The bulldog tastes pretty good, but is it worth that kind of discomfort? I suppose once you get adapted to it, it's not too bad.